What's up, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Japan. And we're back with more from their Tin Drum album, 1981, as well as a ridiculously sleepy Luca. And we're going to listen to Visions of China, which certainly does fit into the larger East Asian theme of this album, which is funny, because, you listen to a group named Japan, it feels like that's not all that surprising, and yet for the first couple albums, it didn't feel like that was overly referenced in the titles, but yeah, sonically it feels like this album is very much in that vein, though to be fair, even here, I don't expect it to just simply be, traditional Chinese musical sounds. I imagine it to be, perhaps contemporary Chinese musical influences at the time, also Japan's own synth, funky / alternative dimension, completely original style, as well as Sylvian's vocals, which, again, even if sometimes I can't understand what he's singing, I do always enjoy the vocal, sonic quality. So yeah, ultimately, as I said, I expect this to have Japan's own sonic flavoring, but it to feature on some level Chinese musical influences, whether more traditional or contemporary. So let's find out what it is. This is Japan, Visions of China, from the 1981 album Tin Drum. Wow. So yes and yes, but already more funky than maybe I would have expected.
I'm walking young and strong, but just a little too thin now. Maybe happy, but I haven't a clue to this life. In my mind, stay with me. We could learn to fight like you're a good boy. Cling to me. We are blacked out in visions of China tonight.
We're blacked out in Visions of China.
I'm building heroes again. I never thought of before. I remember the fashion, but don't have a clue to your life. In my mind, stay with me. We could learn to fight like you're a good boy. Cling to me. We are blacked out in visions of China tonight.
Couldn't hear those last two words. It was like too many, too late. What was it? I truly never knew what to expect.
Backwards, say nothing. Visions of China. We're young and strong in this party. We're building our visions of China. Walk backwards, say nothing.
Walk backwards and sing nothing.
China. We're young and strong in
even when a Japan tune fundamentally conforms to my thoughts and quasi-predictions in advance, I still don't know what to expect. Like I said, it did feature Chinese musical elements, seemingly more traditional, and I was thinking, this is early 80s, and ultimately, the Cultural Revolution is not even that far in the background, so, perhaps less likely to have, like, immediate contemporary influences. Regardless, it had crazy funk and swagger, and it had its own, again, like, Japan flavoring above and beyond what the again, Chinese musical influences were, which, again, that's basically what I was thinking, but the way it came together was, beyond anything I could have predicted. That very percussive section where it was, lots of different drum types and a rhythmic scheme, I didn't foresee that. So ultimately, again, it's, even when it's heading in a direction that I would expect, I don't know what to expect. And once again, I heard some lyrics from Sylvian, but more or less I was following his vocal delivery more than I was hearing all the lines. Again, there were some lines that make me, intrigued as to what they might mean in the context of the phrase, visions of China being blacked out in them, or, living them out, and so on. Either way, another cool tune by, it could only be Japan. Like I said, when it comes to groups that just really did their own thing beyond, most groups when I say that, which, again, a lot of groups I'm going through, have a distinct sound. The moment I hear it, it's like, it's a Pet Shop Boys tune, or like it's an Erasure tune, or, whatever it may be. But as I go through the catalogs of Japan, and admittedly Roxy music as well, it's like, there's nothing like this. Like, there's literally, like, no other group, right? Like, I could point to this and say, like, this, like, it's very much in that vein. Again, and my understanding is, when you do say that in relation to those two groups, it's generally the other direction. Groups, that sort of elaborated on the inspiration they had from music, from Roxy music, and from Japan. So either way, I'll stop yammering, and we will come back next time for another Japan tune. I'm not sure in the moment how many tunes are left on Tin Drum. I feel like we've done at least, like 5 or 6, so I feel like we're moving through this album. And again, there's been a couple comments I've seen recently in relation to, of course, in the moment I'm forgetting what other groups, but people were saying, like, if Japan had continued beyond when they stopped, maybe they'd sound like this, or maybe they would have gone in this direction. So it does sound like, it's another group where you can only wonder, had they stayed together longer, what they might have done in following decades. In any case, from the very silly and sleepy Luca and I, do let me know what you think of this tune, and I will see you next time for the next Japan reaction. Peace.